So isang mapagpalang araw po sa ating lahat and welcome to our discussion of our unit number 5, which is the discussion of the 5 phases of the TQM implementation. So kung mapapansin po ninyo, we have the word transforming organizations for excellence. So hindi lang po kasi siya ito basta-basta process. It's about changing the entire culture of the company. Okay, so kung makikita nyo sa inyong mga images, we have a boxes no, na nasa conveyor belt, right? And it represent the flow of any business. So kapag wala tayong system, magulo yan. No? But with the total quality management, no, sinisigurado natin na ang bawat step, no, mula sa pagpaplano hanggang sa makarating tayo sa product mismo ng mga customers natin, dapat pulido at walang error. So bale, hindi natin siya pwedeng biglain. No, ibig sabihin, bawal natin directly na basta natin i-apply si TQM. It's a journey. No, hindi siya one time, big time as a magic. No, just like magic. Na in just click mo in just one snap, andyan na si TQM. No, kaya dito dadaan po tayo with the different 5 distinct phases, no, para mas maintindihan po natin kung paano po nagta-transform ang isang okay lang na company hanggang sa pinaka-world class na company. Okay? So, let's break down dun sa ating unang makikita kung paano ba natin maitatayo yung word na excellence sa loob ng isang organization. Okay? So, as you can see, ang pag-i-implement ng TQM is not just one-time project. As I said, it is a structured journey. Hindi ito magic na kailangan perfect agad, no? And it requires deep commitment and leadership. Plus, tatandaan nyo, if the leaders don't buy into it, the whole system will fail. We are specifically looking at the framework by Joseph R. Jablonski. No, siya yung nag-outline ng 5 critical phases para maging successful ang isang company. No, dito, no, according kay as a framework ni Mr. Joseph Jablonski, no, meron tayong phases. Number 1 is the preparation. No, dito tayo nag-decide whether the company is ready mentally and financially. Second is planning. No, ito yung parang roadmap. Dito natin sineset yung goals and strategies natin ng company. Okay? The third one, we have the assessment, wherein we are looking at the mirror kung saan ba tayo nagkulang, no, saan ba tayo nagkamali. And the fourth one, we have the implementation. Ito po yung action phase. No, at kung makikita ninyo yung image natin, no, we are finally pushing the quality block or the Q block into place, right? And lastly, we have the diversification. Dito po hindi lang ito para sa isang department, dapat buong organization po ang gumagalaw po para sa quality. Okay? And kung nakikita ninyo yung image ninyo, there is someone who are pushing the block of Q, no, sa pagbuo ng pyramid of quality. And it's heavy work. And it takes one block at a time to reach the top. Okay? So according kay Joseph R. Jablonski, okay, no, sino nga ba si Joseph R. Jablonski? So, he is both quality management author and practitioner. Ibig sabihin, class, hindi lang ito basta, kumaga, in-implement yung 5 phases of the TQM. Hindi niya basta inisip, he actually did the work. He knows the ins and outs of how businesses operate in the real world. Kaya very practical yung pagtuturo ni Joseph Jablonski in terms of total quality management. Okay? Second, siya yung nag-propose ng 5 phases of the TQM implementation. Okay, yun yung diniscuss natin kanina. Siya yung nag-provide ng step-by-step guide, no, para hindi maligaw ang company. Kapag gusto nilang mag-improve ng quality, no, hindi sila basta huhula. They have their, kumbaga tawagin nating systematic approach na pwede nilang gamitin. And lastly, si Joseph R. Jablonski, no, his framework no is very widely cited in the TQM or total quality literature. Meaning, pag nag-research kayo, no, nagbasa kayo ng mga textbooks about management, halos laging andoon yung pangalan ni Joseph R. Jablonski. No, he is a trusted authority, and his methods have been tested and proven over time by many organizations worldwide. So when you think of how to of the quality management, think of Mr. Joseph R. Jablonski. So we'll proceed tayo with the phase number one. As you can see in our phase number one, no, ito yung make or break the stage. Kapag kasi pumalya yung isang bagay, no, or nag-doom to fail ang buong quality initiative, ito yung mga kumaga kailangan nating maging goal, to be ready doon sa ating total quality management. Okay? Ang main objective kasi natin dito is to determine kung handa ba yung organization para sa total quality management. Hindi ito minamadali. Okay? So ito yung mga kailangan, as I said, the goal of a company if they are ready to apply the total quality management. Number one is management decision. So lahat ay nagsisimula sa taas. Kung ang boss ay hindi 100% committed sa isang management or sa isang company, walang mangyayari. Sila ang nagbibigay ng green light. Okay? Sila ang nagsasabi na, okay, no, I'm very committed with my work, no, and let's make this happen. No, sila yung nag-green light, sila yung nagsasabi na, okay, we are ready and we are going to apply the TQM. Second is training. As I said sa TQM, sa isang company, hindi pwedeng trial and error. Kailangan turuan natin ang mga tao natin, ang ating mga empleyado, yung ng tamang mindset at tools para sa quality improvement. Third one is consultants. Minsan kasi kailangan natin ng mga expert from the outside na para gabayan tayo at ituro yung mga best practices. Okay? Fourth one is the policy drafting. Ito yung paggawa natin ng mga rules. No, dito natin sinusulat kung ano ba talaga yung standard ng quality na gusto nating ma-achieve. Second to the last, we have the resource commitment. No, hindi lang siya basta pera, kasama na dito yung mga oras, no, yung tao, yung iba't ibang equipment na ating ginamit. Kung walang budget, no, hanggang sa isip lang or hanggang drawing lang si TQM. And ang last and definitely not the least ay yung communication. Ito po yung pinaka-importante kasi dapat alam ng bawat empleyado no mula sa pinaka-mataas hanggang sa pinaka-frontline of the work no kung bakit natin ito ginagawa. Okay? Kung makikita ninyo doon sa ating image, we have a decision diamond. No, it is the go or no go. Kung titingnan ninyo yung flowchart na nakikita niyo sa lower left ninyo, ano, bago tayo mag-proceed sa development, dadaan muna tayo sa leadership review and evaluation. No, may project proposal, dito natin ipapakita yung plano natin about that certain project or company. Second is the review. Titimbangin natin, may mga budget ba tayo? Handa ba yung tao natin? Are we ready? No, mentally and financially. And lastly, the decision. Kung makikita ninyo, meron siyang go. No, it's either proceed to the development or no go or halt the project. Ibig sabihin, may kulang pa. Mas mabuting itigil muna natin kaysa ituloy natin tapos masasayang lang naman yung pera at effort natin. Okay? And as you can see, we have here let's say a manager na nakatingin sa sign. It is a representation of a leader or a manager, no, that has a targets. No, it symbolizes the goals. There's a clock or a calendar, and it represents the timelines and deadlines. The dollar sign, as you can see, syempre yan yung budget. No, and the bar graph, it represents the data and performance tracking. No, these images, it's just a representation of how we uh, do or apply the phase one of the TQM, which is the preparation. No, as I said, madaming proseso na kahit yan phase one, no, madami siyang checklist na we need to have um, to be checked. Okay? In short, ang phase one kasi ang pag-aayos ng ating foundation. It is the preparation if we are ready 100% of success. Kung hindi malinaw ang policy, walang budget, hindi train ang mga tao, no, wag na tayong umasa na magiging high quality ang output natin. Okay? Second is phase 2 planning. Okay? Tapos na natin yung initial ideation, which is the preparation. We are moving to the phase 2, which is the planning stage. Ito na yung part na kung saan hihimay-himayin na natin kung paano talaga maabot yung goals natin. Okay? Kasi ang main goal natin is a roadmap for quality. And as you can see, we have a bullseye parang image. Ano, and it represent our target. And ang main objective natin is we need to create a roadmap for quality. Hindi sapat na may ideas lang tayo, no? Kailangan natin ng malinaw at konkretong plano para hindi tayo maligaw. Okay? And as you can see, we have a deep dive of data. Tables. We have a deep tables here. At kung titingnan po ninyo, no, napaka-importante po ng merong data bago tayo mag-set ng plano. So we need to look with the three things: the internal data, the external benchmark, and competitive analysis. Sa internal data, dito natin titingnan yung performance natin. Okay, for example, yung percentage of the customer satisfaction. No? Ang kailangan ba nating ma-meet is 50%, 99%, or based sa internal data, ang nakalagay lang is 31%. So it's not enough. Okay? Second is the external benchmark. Ano yung standard ng industry or ng market? And we also have the competitive analysis. Dito natin ginagawa if um, ikino-compare kung effective yung ginagawa ng ating mga kalaban or ating mga competitors. And if you're going to notice the gaps, no, kung ang competitor natin ay nasa 80% ng satisfaction, pero tayo ay nasa 31% pa lang, dyan tayo papasok sa planning. Na, and kung makikita ninyo, ang goal natin is to create the roadmap for quality. And number one, we need to set the measurable targets. Hindi pwedeng galingan lang natin. Dapat may specific target tayo. Like for example, we need to have an increased market share of 15 or 20%. No, it is a measurable target. Second is assess the capability gaps. Ano ba yung kulang natin? Kulang ba tayo sa tao? Kulang ba tayo sa equipment? O baka kulang lang tayo sa training? We need to assess ano ba yung gaps ng ibang company sa atin. Okay? Third one is we need to allocate the resources and infrastructure. Dito natin pag-uusapan yung budget, no? Ano yung mga tools na gagamitin natin, no? In order for us to deliver the quality. And lastly, laging sinasabi natin, communicate the target. Just like phase 1 na ang last will be the communication. Just like this phase number 2, we need to communicate the targets. Okay? Dapat alam ng buong team, alam lahat ng empleyado kung ano ang plano natin para iisa ang direksyon at iisa ang takbo ng ating trabaho. Okay? And sir, ano ba yung mga planning tools? Okay? So dito, aalamin natin yung iba't ibang tools na ginagamit natin for phase number 2. Okay? Dito, no, kapag kasi nasa real world tayo, hindi pwedeng masipag ka lang. No, kailangan tayo ay may system, may strategy, no, at hindi nasasayang ang ating effort. So nahati siya sa tatlo. Number one is the first 5 ways or yung tinatawag nating root cause analysis. Okay? Isipin nyo na ang 5 ways or yung root cause analysis, it is a investigative phase. At kapag nag-fail ang isang project or may mga system errors na nangyari, hindi sapat na ayusin lang natin yung pinaka-surface. No. If you ask me why, bakit limang why or 5 times nating hahanapin or kailangang mahanap yung pinaka-root cause ng problem. Para kasi siyang diagnostic ng isang sakit. Hindi pwedeng magagamot ka lang. No, kasi mainit ka, may lagnat ka. No, yun pala, may infection ka na sa loob. Okay? Next, we have to have a brainstorming or idea generation. Ito yung pinaka-creative part na hindi lang tayo depende sa pag-analysis or paghahanap ng main problem of the company or a system. No, we have to generate a idea. No, dito class, no bad ideas. Ibubuhos natin lahat ang iniisip natin. It's about quantity. No, not the quality of your idea. Sa dami-dami ng ideas na inilalabas ninyo, doon tayo makakakuha ng mga rare diamonds, no, na magagamit natin sa project. And finally, we have the benchmarking or the performance comparison. Hindi natin hindi tayo pwedeng maging kampante na okay na to, no, hanggang dito na lang ako. So sa benchmarking, titingnan natin how do we stack up against the best na at kino-compare natin yung mga performance at products natin sa industry standards at sa ating mga competitors para malaman natin, no, kung saan pa tayo pwedeng mag-improve. In short, ang planning po is the bridge between a messy drawing and a successful execution. Kung gagamitin ninyo yung tatlong ito, no, mas magiging efficient po yung phase number 2 ninyo. No, mas magiging efficient yung strategic approach ng bawat isa sa paghahanap kung anong task yung ating kailangang i-accomplish. Okay? These are the types of benchmarking. Okay? So, para mas madali pong maunawaan ng everyone, ang benchmarking po ay parang salamin. No? Ito ay parang salamin sa iba para makita natin kung paano tayo nag improve. And let's break with different types of benchmarking. We have internal, external, competitive, non-competitive, performance, and practice. Now, let's proceed with the two types. We need to compare the internal benchmarking and the external benchmarking. Sa internal benchmarking, ikino-compare natin ang performance within the same organization. Kunwari, comparing the efficiency of branch A to branch B. At sa external naman, no, tumitingin na tayo sa labas, sa ibang organization para makita yung fresh perspective. Okay, like for example, no, sa internal, example natin itong school natin sa Bat State U. Ang internal, for example, i-compare natin ang College of Engineering sa College of Engineering Technology. No? It is ay internal. While the external, it is the comparison between the Bat State U Alangilan and the University of Batangas. It is external. Nagigets ba? Second is we look at the competitive versus non-competitive. Sa competitive kasing part, it is the direct rivals or competitors ang titingnan po natin. Gusto nating malaman bakit mas mabilis sila sa atin. Pero sa non-competitive, pwede tayong matuto sa ibang industry. For example, isang ospital or sa isang ospital, pwede tayong mag-benchmark in terms of efficiency ng isang fast food chain pagdating sa queuing system. Okay? Dito kasi, i-compare lang natin yung, kumbaga, base sa kalaban at hindi natin kalaban. Kunwari, ang competitive natin, i-compare natin for example, si Bat State U kay University of Batangas. It is the same school. Meron silang same courses. Yun ay competitive kasi kino-compare natin yung ating school sa ibang school. Pag sinabi namang non-competitive, we are comparing with our non-rivals. Ibig sabihin, i-compare natin kay Bat State U, let's say for example, sa fast food chain, sa McDo. So, ibig sabihin, hindi sila rivals kasi hindi sila parehas ng target market. Nagigets ba? Yun yung non-competitive compare kay competitive. And lastly, we have performance and practice. Ang performance benchmarking ay nakafocus on what ibig sabihin yung results, numbers, datas, outcomes, no, doon nakafocus si performance benchmarking. Pero kung gusto nating malaman yung how, yun yung mismong process. Doon papasok yung practices and benchmarking. Practice benchmarking. We compare the methods and workflows para makuha natin yung best way of doing things. Okay? So class, hindi lang siya basta-basta gagaya ka ng benchmarking. It's about choosing the right lens para maging best in class. Mas maging best tayo among the rest. Bumpanes. No? Malinaw ba? So, yun po yung part ng phase number 2. So, let's proceed with the phase number 3, which is the assessment. At kung mapapansin ninyo, ang main goal natin is to evaluate the current quality status. Kumbaga, ito yung reality check. Hindi sapat na feeling lang natin na okay tayo. We need to know for sure kung nasa na ba tayo sa journey natin toward excellence. So paano ba natin to gagawin? We have the three main tools. Number one is discussion groups. Kung makikita ninyo sa ating mga images, no, nakaupo at nagbe-brainstorming or nagkakaroon ng discussion. Hindi siya basta-basta chika lang, hindi basta-basta usap lang. It is a collaborative session where we share insights and pinpoint kung ano yung mga working at ano yung mga hindi. Second is surveys. Dito naman, kinukuha natin yung feedback natin. No? And it gives us the hard numbers and objective data na kailangan natin to make smart decision. And lastly, we have the award type self-assessment. Dito, we check out the trophy. Kung makikita ninyo yung ating image sa left, no, we grade ourselves against high standard. Parang nag-o-audition tayo, for a gold medal. And we look at our performance as we are competing for an award para makita natin kung ano yung kulang natin to be our best. Sir, anong bottom line? Assessment po isn't about finding mistake. It's about no, finding opportunities to be even better. Para bago tayo tumuloy sa next phase, ma-sure natin na solid yung foundation natin. Okay? Next, we have the phase 4 or the implementation. Okay? This is one of the most critical part of our uh, phase phases, no? Sa phase 4 kasi, sa implementation, kung ang nakaraang mga phases ay puro planning, puro preparation, dito sa phase 4 is the actual application. Ito yung moment na i-apply na natin yung lahat na napag-usapan natin in terms of total quality management. Okay? Kung matitingnan ninyo yung ating visual sa ating slide, isa para ma-apply natin si total quality management practices is training and awareness. No? Kasi bago natin simulan ang pagbabago, no, kailangan muna nating i-educate ang part ng ating organization. Hindi lang ito para sa mga matataas, sa mga boss, sa mga CEO, dapat lahat ay included. Dapat alam kung bakit natin ginagawa si total quality management at kung paano natin ito no makakatulong sa ating mga trabaho. Second is employee empowerment, no? And as you can see on our image, it represent the power. So sa phase 4, binibigyan natin ng boses at authority ang ating mga staff. Hindi lang sila basta sunod-sunuran. We need to encourage them to decide at magbigay ng suggestion and insight para gumanda ang service natin. And lastly is process improvement. No, ito yung ultimate goal natin. Inaayos natin ang workflow ng trabaho. We look for ways to make things faster, cheaper, and better without sacrificing quality. In short class, phase 4 is where the magic happens. Dito natin binabago ang culture ng company para maging quality driven. Okay, naintindihan po? And lastly, we have here the phase number 5 or the diversification. Okay, at kung mapapansin ninyo, ang ating image sa ating slide, may nakikita natin na we have two men, or we have two leaders, no, shaking hands, no. Meron tayo diyang mga global maps, no. Sir, bakit ano ba nangyayari dito sa phase number 2? Ito kasi yung pinaka main goal natin. We are extending the TQM externally. Hindi na lang ito about sa quality, sa loob ng opisina or sa factory natin. We are now bringing our standard into the world. At ang first step doon, if we're going to extend the total quality management practices externally, is we need to have a trusted partner with suppliers. Plus, tandaan ninyo, hindi tayo pwedeng maging high quality kung yung raw materials natin ay binabagay lang natin sa subpar. Kaya we need to treat our suppliers as a partners. No, hindi lang siya basta kumbaga binibigyan ng orders na bigyan mo kami ng ganito, bigyan mo kami ng ganyan. No, no, uh we need to have a equal partnership with our suppliers. Second is we need to share our best practices. Hindi dapat tayo madamot in terms of workflow natin. If we discovered a way to reduce waste, for example, kailangan natin siyang ituro sa ating mga partners. Kasi part sila ng buong supply chain, no? And they need to be efficient also. Ang ending, pag uh, na-treat natin as partners ang ating mga suppliers, we share our best practices, we are going to expand the quality culture. Kasi we want to create a quality ecosystem na kung saan lahat ay involved. International man yan, national man yan, local man yan, no, iisa ang mindset. And it's all about building trust and excellence across the globe. Okay? Naintindihan po ang phase number 5. So those are the phases na kailangan natin para malaman natin na tayo ay total quality management ready. Okay, but at the same time, yung TQM success natin, meron siya laging gaps at challenges. So sir, ano ba yung mga barriers kay TQM success? Number one is lack of management commitment. As you can see, no, may nakalagay dyan na road closed, construction barriers. It is a visual representation of uh, challenges and barriers kaya nagpe-fail si total quality management ng isang organization. At ang number one po diyan will be the lack of management commitment. And it is a top-down quality. Ibig sabihin, kung ang boss mo or ang management mo or ang manager mo is not commitment, damay kayo. Kasi si TQM, all in yan. Hindi ka dapat nagbibigay ng, hindi ka lang basta magbibigay ng budget or ng support. No, it's like a driving a car without a gas. At hindi aandar yon without the management commitment. So, we need a company that is committed to our goal. Second is cultural resistance. Eh, ah, doon na lang ako sa lumang pamamaraan kasi doon ako sanay. Ay, doon ako sa lumang way natin ng ganitong paggawa ng product kasi doon ako sanay. Kapag kasi sinasabi nila nito na, ay, ganito kasi kami dati, bakit pa kailangan magbago? No? Yan yung isa sa hindrances of the TQM. Kasi mahirap talagang baguhin yung na-instill na sa kanila na mindset dahil takot sila sa pagbabago. And we need to change it. Third one, lack of continuous education. Ang quality kasi natin ay hindi one-time workshop. It's a lifelong process. At kapag huminto ka, damay ang team. No, damay ang team, damay ang mga pleyado na nag-aaral ng mga bagong tools at standards. Mapag-iiwanan ang company. Fourth one, second to the last, poor customer focus. Tandaan ninyo class, ang TQM ay nakafocus sa customer. At kapag hindi natin sila pinakinggan, hindi natin alam ang pangangailangan nila, mawawalan tayo ng saysay. Lahat ng efforts natin, no, lahat ng ways on how we're going to be success in terms of TQM ay mawawala because hindi tayo nakafocus sa customer. And lastly is complacency. Ito yung attitude na kung saan okay na yan, no? Na akala ninyo perfect na kayo, hindi na kayo mag improve. Sa TQM kasi, there is always a room for improvement. So class, wag nating hayaan na maging closed yung mga opportunities, yung career, yung business natin, yung goals natin. Dahil sa mga barriers na ito, no, ay pwede nating tanggalin. At hindi ibig sabihin na harang yan ay hindi na yan maaalis. No, it's about commitment. It's about changing the mindset. And it's about, giving continuous education for us to reach our goal. Okay? And always remember, class, that TQM isn't just like a magic na kailangan perfect agad. TQM is a continuous journey. No, nagsisimula tayo kay preparation, no, kasi kailangan nating maging commitment on our top management. Second, we have the planning, para malinaw yung ating roadmap. Then we did the assessment para malaman natin kung nasaan na ba talaga tayo. No, and we have the implementation. Ito yung part na talagang pinapaikot na natin yung mga tao, yung trainings, yung involvements, no? And we should have a commitment to continuous improvement. Kasi ang TQM kasi ay hindi dapat nahihinto. kaya siya yan ay naging successful. Kundi, as I said, it is a continuous improvement. TQM is like a team sport. Success requires structured phases, people involvement, and never-ending commitment to excellence. Hindi lang ito basta lesson sa textbooks natin. Mindset ito, no, na madadala ninyo kung saan man kayo magtatrabaho in the future. And I hope na meron po kayong natutunan with this lesson. Very short, very quick. And I hope na in your midterm exam, no, it will remember you the 5 phases of the TQM. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.